Chapter 1. The Haunting Begins. Evelyn, Evelyn, let down your hair, for in the darkness something wicked stares. In the shadows it waits and looms, bringing with it impending dooms. Evelyn wandered through the desolate halls of the isolated mansion, her footsteps echoing eerily against the cold stone floors. The oppressive atmosphere clung to her like a shroud, suffocating her with the weight of its isolation. As she performed her menial tasks, a sense of foreboding hung in the air, like an ominous fog that refused to dissipate. The mansion itself seemed to watch her with malevolent intent, its ancient walls whispering secrets that Evelyn dared not decipher. Tormented by her cruel stepmother and stepsisters, she bore the burden of their disdain with stoic resignation. But beneath her composed exterior, a tremor of unease lurked, fueled by the unsettling occurrences that seemed to plague her every step. As evening descended, the mansion took on a more sinister aura. Shadows danced in the dim candlelight, casting twisted shapes upon the walls. Unseen whispers slithered through the corridors, causing Evelyn's skin to crawl with unspoken dread. Yet she remained resolute, refusing to acknowledge the gnawing fear that threatened to consume her. In the heart of this malevolent dwelling, Evelyn stood alone against the encroaching darkness, unaware of the horrors that awaited her in the labyrinthine depths of the mansion. Chapter 2. The Sinister Discovery. Evelyn's fingers trembled as she traced the faded letters on the cover of the old, tattered book. It was her mother's, a relic from a time long gone. The pages inside were filled with ominous warnings, each word seeming to leap out at her, filling her with a sense of foreboding. "Beware the curse that lingers within these walls," it seemed to whisper to her. She tried to shake off the feeling, dismissing it as mere superstition, but an inexplicable chill ran down her spine, leaving her unsettled and on edge. As she flipped through the frail pages, the air around her grew heavy with an unspoken dread. The contents of the book seemed to seep into her mind, igniting a primal fear that clawed at her thoughts. She grappled with the unsettling nature of the book, each word etching itself into her consciousness like a sinister tattoo. The weight of its implications bore down on her, and she found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about the mansion and its dark history. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows across the room, adding to the sense of unease that enveloped Evelyn. She could hear the distant howl of the wind outside, a mournful symphony that seemed to echo the secrets hidden within the mansion's walls. The words on the pages danced before her eyes, weaving a tale of ancient curses and malevolent forces that slumbered just beneath the surface. Her mind raced with fear and uncertainty as she grappled with the implications of what she had discovered. Was there truth in these pages, or was it merely a figment of her imagination? The line between reality and superstition blurred in her mind, and she felt as though she were teetering on the edge of an abyss, unsure of what lay beyond. The creaking of the floorboards outside the room jolted her from her thoughts, sending a shiver down her spine. Her pulse quickened as she scanned the dimly lit room, half expecting to find something lurking in the shadows. Every whispered breath seemed to carry an otherworldly presence, further fueling her growing sense of dread. Evelyn closed the book with trembling hands, but its haunting words continued to echo in her mind, refusing to be silenced. The chill in the air seemed to linger around her like a ghostly touch, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister had been awakened by her discovery. As night fell over the mansion, Evelyn's world was cast into deeper shadows of uncertainty, and she realized that she had only just begun to uncover the malevolence that lurked within. With a foreboding sense of trepidation, Evelyn steeled herself for what lay ahead, knowing that there was no turning back from the dark secrets that had been unearthed. And so in that moment of haunting revelation, Evelyn's fate became forever entwined with the cursed legacy of the desolate mansion. To be continued. Chapter 3. Descent into Madness. As night falls, Evelyn hears eerie whispers echoing through the corridors. Shadows seem to move on their own, and the mansion's atmosphere becomes increasingly sinister. She begins to question her sanity, unsure if what she's experiencing is real or a figment of her imagination. The darkness outside the windows seemed to be alive, creeping closer and closer to the mansion, enveloping it in an ominous shroud. The air felt heavy with unseen malevolence, causing Evelyn's skin to prickle with unease. Every creak of the floorboards echoed like a haunting melody, sending chills down her spine. In the dimly lit hallway, a flickering candle cast distorted shadows on the walls, creating macabre shapes that seemed to dance menacingly. As Evelyn walked, the shadows seemed to reach out for her, beckoning her into their embrace. A cold sweat broke out on her forehead as she clutched the frayed edges of the old book she had found. The words within seemed to mock her, whispering warnings of impending doom and unspeakable horrors. Her hands trembled as she struggled to maintain a grip on reality, the lines between truth and delusion blurring before her eyes. The once familiar surroundings now felt like a labyrinth of twisted illusions, each step deeper into the mansion, leading Evelyn further into the abyss of her own mind. Whispers echoed through the walls, their words elusive yet filled with sinister intent, leaving her heart pounding in terror. Isolated and alone, Evelyn's grip on reality began to slip, giving way to nightmarish hallucinations that clawed at the edges of her consciousness. Every corner held a new terror, every shadow concealed an unseen menace, and she couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching her from the darkness. The descent into madness had begun, and Evelyn found herself teetering on the edge of a bottomless abyss, unsure of whether she would ever find solid ground again. Chapter 4: Malevolence Unveiled. Evelyn's stepmother, Margaret, finally unveils her true malevolent nature, using dark rituals and spells to torment Evelyn. The mansion itself seems alive with malice, trapping her within its walls and making her question the very fabric of reality. As the night descends, the shadows take on a life of their own, twisting and contorting in unnatural ways. The air becomes heavy with an oppressive darkness that seems to choke the very life out of Evelyn. Evelyn's heart races as she realizes that she is not alone in the mansion. Whispers and sinister laughter echo throughout the corridors, sending shivers down her spine. The flickering candlelight casts eerie, dancing shadows on the walls, creating a sense of impending doom. Every creak of the floorboards and every rustle of the curtains feels like a malevolent presence closing in on her. The atmosphere is suffocating, thick with an otherworldly malevolence that seems to seep into her very bones. As Evelyn frantically searches for a way to escape, the walls seem to shift and twist, disorienting her at every turn. The once familiar surroundings now feel like a labyrinth of terror and despair. In the midst of this escalating horror, Evelyn comes face to face with Margaret, who wears a sinister smile that sends chills down Evelyn's spine. The stepmother's eyes glint with an unholy glee as she chants incantations that reverberate through the mansion, causing the very foundation to tremble. Evelyn realizes that she is up against a force far beyond her comprehension, a darkness that hungers for her very soul. Her breath quickens as she struggles to make sense of the malevolence that looms over her like a suffocating fog. With every passing moment, Evelyn's grip on reality loosens, and she is plunged into a nightmarish realm where nothing is as it seems. The boundaries between the physical and the supernatural blur, leaving Evelyn teetering on the edge of madness. As the chapter unfolds, Evelyn grapples with the horrifying truth that she is entwined in a web of darkness from which there may be no escape. The tension escalates to a fever pitch as she confronts the full extent of the danger that lurks within the mansion's walls. Chapter 5: Confronting Dark Secrets. Evelyn's hands trembled as she pored over the cryptic pages of her mother's diary. Each word seemed to pulse with an ominous weight, drawing her deeper into the web of dark secrets that shrouded her family history. The truth behind her mother's untimely demise was unveiled, and Evelyn realized that she held the key to breaking the curse that plagued her ancestral home. As she delved deeper into the mystery, a chilling realization dawned upon her. The curse was not just a mere superstition, but a malevolent force that had been festering within the mansion for generations. The tendrils of darkness coiled around her heart and mind, threatening to engulf her in its suffocating embrace. The air grew thick with an otherworldly stillness, and Evelyn felt the weight of centuries-old secrets pressing down upon her shoulders. whispers echoed through the dimly lit corridors, taunting her with fragmented truths and half-remembered lies. Shadows danced in the periphery of her vision, teasing her with glimpses of a reality warped by ancient malevolence. As she pieced together the fragments of her family's tragic history, Evelyn's every breath seemed to draw her further into the yawning abyss of despair. The darkness that had once lurked at the edges of her consciousness now seeped into her very soul, entwining itself with her essence until it was impossible to distinguish where Evelyn ended and the curse began. In a feverish frenzy, she uncovered long-buried relics of unspeakable power, talismans etched with forbidden symbols and arcane incantations that pulsed with a sinister energy. The revelation sent a chill down her spine, for she realized that by seeking to break free from the curse, she had unwittingly bound herself to its insidious machinations. Evelyn's desperate quest for redemption had led her down a treacherous path, where every step forward only deepened the shadows that threatened to consume her. She was no longer just a victim of the curse, she had become its unwitting accomplice, forever entangled in a web of darkness from which there could be no escape. The revelation left Evelyn reeling, teetering on the precipice of sanity as the mansion's malevolence closed in around her. The chilling truth had transformed her salvation into damnation, and as she stood on the brink of oblivion, a sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. This is where Chapter 5 ends and Chapter 6 continues. Chapter 6, The Heartstopping Showdown. Evelyn's trembling hand reached for the ancient, ornate door handle, her heart pounding in her chest as she prepared to face the malevolent forces that lurked within the mansion. The air was thick with an oppressive sense of dread, and every step she took echoed through the dimly lit corridor. As she ventured deeper into the heart of darkness, whispers filled the air, their sinister tones weaving a web of fear around her. Shadows danced menacingly on the walls, their movements mirroring the palpitations of her own trepidation. A flickering candle cast eerie shadows across the sinister chamber, illuminating the malevolent figure that awaited her. The entity exuded an aura of pure malevolence, its eyes glinting with an otherworldly darkness that threatened to consume her whole. Evelyn's breath caught in her throat as she confronted the embodiment of evil that had plagued her existence. Every fiber of her being screamed for escape, but she steeled herself with a resolve born of desperation and defiance. In a chilling revelation, the entity spoke with a voice that resonated through her very soul, promising eternal torment and suffering. The tendrils of darkness coiled around her heart and mind, threatening to drag her into an abyss of unimaginable horror. With trembling hands and a voice laced with unyielding determination, Evelyn uttered words of ancient power, invoking forces beyond mortal comprehension. The ethereal battleground crackled with an arcane energy as she fought to break free from the suffocating grip of malevolence. The room trembled as the confrontation reached its zenith, her bravery clashing against the overwhelming darkness. In a heart-stopping showdown, Evelyn faced her deepest fears head-on, refusing to succumb to the tendrils of despair that sought to consume her. As the dust settled and the oppressive atmosphere lifted, Evelyn emerged from the harrowing ordeal with newfound strength and resilience. The mansion's hold on her had been shattered, but the echoes of its haunting presence lingered in the recesses of her mind. The open ending left an indelible sense of unease, hinting at a future haunted by the specter of darkness. As Evelyn ventured into the night, uncertainty hung heavy in the air, promising that the malevolent forces would never truly release their hold on her soul. By crafting this heart-stopping showdown with vivid detail and an atmosphere of palpable dread, Evelyn's Curse, a haunting tale of dark secrets, will captivate audiences with its chilling conclusion. Chapter 7, Forever Haunted. As Evelyn flees into the night, her heart pounds with fear, and her breath comes in ragged gasps. The cold, enveloping darkness seems to follow her, its tendrils reaching out with a promise to never let go. The mansion's malevolence lingers in the air, intertwining with her very essence, leaving an indelible mark on her soul. She stumbles through the overgrown gardens, the moonlight casting eerie shadows that seem to dance and twist around her. The haunting whispers of the cursed mansion echo in her ears, a constant reminder of the evil that forever haunts her. Her footsteps falter as she reaches the wrought iron gates, but even beyond them, the oppressive atmosphere persists. As Evelyn crosses the threshold, a shiver runs down her spine, for she knows that the darkness will never release its hold on her. The chilling uncertainty of what awaits her beyond the mansion's walls fills her with a sense of foreboding dread. The night air is heavy with an unspoken threat, and she realizes that she can never truly escape the malevolent forces that lurk within. The audience is left with a lingering sense of unease as they witness Evelyn's desperate flight, knowing that the evil she encountered will continue to torment her. The story concludes with an open-ended, yet hauntingly conclusive ending, leaving the audience with a chilling awareness that the darkness follows Evelyn, promising to never let go. Thank you for listening to Evelyn's Haunting. I hope you enjoyed this twisted version of a classic fairy tale turned into a terrifying psychological horror story. If you like the story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more bone-chilling tales. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to bring you more horrifying narratives in the future. Stay tuned, and may your nightmares be plentiful. Good night. Thank you for listening to Evelyn's Haunting. I hope you enjoyed this twisted version of a classic fairy tale turned into a terrifying psychological horror story. If you like the story, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more bone-chilling tales. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to bring you more horrifying narratives in the future. Stay tuned, and may your nightmares be plentiful. Good night.